Hi, my name's Juan Miguel Facundo, and this video presentation is part of our difficult venous access course, and I will be presenting my reflection. So I would like to talk about my experience when I attempted, attempted because it was unsuccessful, to insert a cannula under ultrasound guided. Um, So I was working as a liaison nurse on that day, and I received a call from the medical ward and asked me to see this lady. So this patient who has already been flagged as a diva and has had multiple attempts in her previous admission. So knowing that, I went to see our ICU reg, and I explained to him that we've just undergone this course, and I was asking if he could supervise me, and he gladly did, which was great. So that was very helpful. Um, so upon entering the room, so this patient, she's around 70 years old, female, slightly obese, so you could see straight away that she's got a lot of adipose tissues in her arms, which I already anticipated that she will be a difficult one. Um, so upon initial inspection using traditional methods, we didn't use ultrasound yet. We found it difficult to locate a proper appropriate vein, and then after that we've decided to use the ultrasound. So when we used the ultrasound, I was surprised how quickly I was able to locate an appropriate vein. So I found one near the cube, cube fosse. So I did try to locate one more distally, but couldn't find a nice, straight, good sized vein. So pretty much we've decided to use the vein near the antecubital fossa. And unfortunately, it was unsuccessful. Now, during that time, I was quite nervous or anxious because I haven't really done much and I haven't done a successful one prior to that day. Um, so I did explain to the patient that I'm quite new to this procedure, but I just had done training. I also explained to the patient that the doctor is there as my mentor, and thankfully this patient was very accommodating, and she was happy for us to carry on, which actually made me feel very good knowing that she was okay with that. Now, during that particular event, two things that stood out: the weight of the probe and the weight of the cable actually did make the procedure more difficult than I anticipated. So having that weight of the probe on the vein, you just realize how easy the vein collapses. So manipulating that, and to make matters worse, the weight of the cable kept sliding off the bed, and it kept pulling the probe to the side. So that also found it more tricky. Um, the other thing that I found very challenging was locating the tip of the cannula. So as I progressed, initially I was able to keep my probe on. I was able to keep the probe on the tip, but then there was a point where there was a time wherein I couldn't locate it anymore. Up until the last minute, wherein I was already tenting on the vein. Um, so that particular procedure was unsuccessful. The ICU reg took over and he did manage to put the cannula in. So for my analysis, having the weight and manipulating it, you really need to be comfortable with how you're handling your probe, where the cable is located, and also how you are holding the cannula. I found it a bit tricky because I have my own way of holding the cannula while inserting it traditionally, but while you're doing it under the ultrasound, because you're not looking at the patient anymore, you're focusing more onto the screen. It's a little bit more challenging than I anticipated, so it's a bit frustrating actually. um, on the other hand, I think locating the appropriate vein was has gone so well under the ultrasound, because when trying to locate the vein without the ultrasound proved to be very difficult. Once you do have the ultrasound, I was just amazed how quickly and how patent the vein was. So I got pretty excited about that one. So I've learned that this skill will require a lot of practice, a lot of exposure, and I've realized how frustrated I got after. It's probably because I wanted to really do this one. So um, I think I should really be more mindful of how I prepare the patient, how I practice more into learning how to adjust the gain and the depth of the screen, and more importantly, handling or manipulating the probe. So for my action plan, um, I want to gain as much exposure and as much practice as I can. Maybe lower the threshold of my patients, where even though they're not that sort of difficult yet, maybe use the ultrasound and use it to locate the appropriate vein. That way, the more I use the ultrasound machine, the more comfortable I am with the dexterity or the manual handling of the probe, and also learning to adjust the gain and the depth optimally, because the doctor actually explained to me that when I was trying to adjust it during that particular event, I've I've put it too high, and he said that there were too many artifacts on the screen, so he just sort of adjusted it down a bit, and there it was. We were able to see the tip more clearly. Um, so I will prioritize and prepare for uh, learning more about the ultrasound machine and adjusting the settings, and try to practice more onto how to hold the probe and how to handle the cannula. So I'll be focusing on those things on my next attempt. So thank you very much for listening, and have a good day.